we give out stuff all the time at our meals, you know, blankets and coats and gloves and toiletries and even boots and shoes whenever we can. And it'd been a while since we got any stuff to give out. It just, we wait for it to be donated. Once in a blue moon we go buy it. And one week Tanya felt very strongly that we needed to give out some boots, some shoes. And I was like, honey, come on, we're having the Spokane Mental Health Winter Wear Drive at the church in just a few weeks, and we're going to give out 150 to 200 pairs of boots and jackets and gloves and hats, and there's going to be several hundred people that come through in partnership with them. Let's just let it ride. If anyone needs the stuff, they can get it then. She's like, no, I'm feeling strongly. We need to get some boots. We're supposed to do this. And usually she's right about those things, I've learned. So I'm like, okay, go to the store and find what you can on sale and see what they got. So she goes down and finds a couple pairs of boots for 30 bucks. And all they had left, of course, was the big sizes, size 12 and size 13. So she gets them and asks me, she goes, do you think that's okay? And I said, well, that's great, because usually the guys who have the big feet are the ones who can never find stuff. They have the hardest time. So we're about halfway into the meal, eating away, having a good time, yucking it up and watching football, when one of our favorite guys comes to me and he says, hey, I need some help. I'm like, well, what do you need? His name's Crazy. He said, what do you need, Crazy? He says, I just met this guy. He's brand new in town, and he's just showed up in Spokane, and he's got nothing on his feet but a pair of flip-flops. He's got a couple size socks tucked into flip-flops, and you got anything for him? And I'm like, well, yeah, we just so happen to have some boots. Bring them down, let's see. So Crazy went out and gets his buddy, and his buddy comes in. He's a big dude, like 6'4", and I'm like, well, we're scored here. And he comes in, I says, well, hey, he needs some shoes. And I look at his feet, and nothing but flip-flops. It's like, you know, late October, early November, so he's got, you know, where it's cold and wet and rainy and nasty out, and all he's got on are flip-flops. And he says, I could really use some shoes or boots if you have any. We happen to have some. So what size are you? He goes, I'm a size 12. I'm like, we happen to have size 12, I say, taking Tanya's credit. And so I go back and I grab the pair, and he tries them on and, you know, stomps around them a little bit, and he kind of shakes his head sadly and takes them off and hands them back, because I'm sorry, man, they just don't fit right, and I don't want to take something that doesn't fit right, and maybe some other guy could use them and they'll fit him. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? And he says, well, they just were too small. I'm like, I happen to have a pair of 13s, the exact same thing. Try those. So I hand them to him, he fits them. Oh, they're great. He stomps around, he is happy. He must have spent the next 2 hours thanking me over and over and over every time I walk by. And then the next week we didn't have a meal because it was the first Sunday of the month. And then, you know, following week we show up and Crazy stomps right in and he goes, hey, did you hear about my buddy? I'm like, no, what's going on? Well, he took those boots that you guys gave him. Because he had those boots, he was able to make a job interview the next day at a construction site, and the company liked him a ton and they hired him. Not only that, but the husband-wife owner, when they found out he was a homeless guy, they happened to have a place that he could live in, so they moved him in right away. He's already got a job, he's off the streets and in a house. Thanks, man, for giving him the boots. And I just looked at those things and thought about that, because just the other pair, and I thought, you know, you just never know.